Hey, it's Lester again. And I was just sharing another one of those silly army tales with a friend. And I thought, hey, didn't I do a little playlist like this with only one video so far? And I said, yeah. All right, here's video number two. I'll call it the gas chamber. So back in basic training. Now, for me, this is late 1980s, 88, I think it was. And it's gas chamber day, the day you get to go validate that your protective mask works great. It keeps all that nasty poisons out and all that good stuff. And of course, we do it in a small room, a kind of cinder block based room, very um, airtight, very controlled, very small, and very thick with CS gas or what we call tear gas. And the intention, I believe, is that it's going to build confidence that, hey, my mask worked when it was on. So we end up taking it off during while we're in the room, and we get to feel the sensation. So one, we feel like, oh, it worked. And then two, we get the opportunity, as I like to call it, the opportunity to see what it feels like to be bombarded with something like that. Tear gas is not the same thing as a lot of other potent killing activities out there, but it sure hurts, especially in that kind of concentration. So we get to feel, hey, great, I understand it. And that way, if you're on the battlefield, you can maybe use your injectors or whatever. It's 2025 now, so who knows? Maybe it's not exactly the same, but we had these little injectors, auto injectors called an antidote. I would say, from my memory, they weren't really much of an antidote. I think they were pretty much two shots, one that was a massive upper, like some speed or something, and then followed by a quick one after that, a massive downer. And my understanding, for what it's worth, is that the intention is to rapidly increase your heart rate, maybe burn out some of this poison, and then the second shot is supposed to follow it to kind of catch you before you die from a cardiac arrest. So, yes, sounds like a brilliant idea. Maybe best just to lay on the ground and die from the poison. I don't know. Thankfully, that was something I personally never had experience, and hopefully, no one ever has to experience gas poisoning. So a little dark side of this, moving on. All right. So nonetheless, the good or the bad news is when you're in basic training, you're often usually around the chow hall running into briefly other groups, other platoons or companies that are also doing their training. There are people behind you and there are people ahead of you. The people ahead of you sometimes are nice. They offer you some tips and tricks. Hey, do this, try that. So gas chamber, no different. But the prevailing theme or the wisdom was, hey, don't shave that day. Shaving's only going to irritate your neck. That tear gas is going to get into your neck and burn it really, really good. So their recommendation was take it easy, no shave that day, everything's fine. So okay, they've been pretty much helpful so far. Why not? No ill will intended, I'm sure. So we all go along, no one shaves. We show up. We march out to the gas chamber area, and then the drill sergeant decides to let us know that he's aware that others have shared said knowledge. All of a sudden, you start to realize this is a hazing event of some sort. Okay, interesting. It's a repeatable process. And the drill sergeant said, absolutely, you need to shave. You're a soldier. You shave every day, or private. We weren't really soldiers yet, according to his terminology. And he decided he's going to take a little break, come back in 10 minutes and do a shaving inspection. And to help us out, what did he do? He pulled a Bic razor, single blade, disposable, 1971 looking basic, cheapest razor you can ever do. And he set it on this nice table next to us. And he said, he'll be back. Of course, chaos ensues. People rush to that deck, to the table. I'm in shock and awe, of course. Ended up pretty much near the back of that line somehow, and got to watch for the next 5 or 10 minutes as people are frantically hacking on their face and neck, throwing water from their canteen on themselves. It's not looking good. People are angry. People are pushy. I finally work my way, to the end of the line. Finally gets there, and what do I see on that table? Disaster. I see that razor there. Water's everywhere, of course. And there's blood on the table. There's blood on that razor. There's whiskers all over it. And I decide, in my infinite wisdom, Maybe I was older and wiser than others. I think I was like 20 instead of 18, ooh, smart man, a wise man. But I look at that razor and I said, yeah, we've all been blood tested for this, that, and the other before we got here. But I decided, for me at least, that I would take a pass. I'd leave that razor right there. I would go to that shaving inspection with my light stubble that I had because any punishment they were going to dish out to me sounded a whole lot better than hacking myself up like that with little cut blades and whatnot. So I decided that's fine. That's my strategy. Put the blade down. True to his word, as always, the drill sergeant returned about 10 minutes later. We formed up. And to our surprise and to my happy surprise, there was no shaving inspection. He didn't even mention it again. We filed on into the gas chamber, did our activities. That stuff burned. That stuff, especially your neck, there are the blouses around that were really loose for the basic training ones, and you immediately hit my neck, and I could feel the pain. And all I could think was, your exposed hands, a little bit around the neck. All I could think was, I just feel for those folks who have fresh cut, literally cut little nicks and stuff on their faces as that same CS gas is tearing into them, especially when they took their whole face mask off, their gas mask off, their protective mask. We made it through. Another story for another day, of course, how it felt and how others reacted. But if you're a young person and you're about to go to basic training in the Army, and maybe you found the video because of the title Gas Chamber, Basic Training Gas Chamber, don't fall for it. I would even recommend just shave that morning. Keep it normal. Do your routine. Be a good private. Working toward your accolades to become a soldier someday, and just do what you're supposed to do. It works out better for everyone. And do not, if that opportunity presents itself, take the punishment. If worst case, take some push-ups. Push-ups are only good for us anyway. Make us stronger. Build up for our PT tests. So hey, they're doing us a favor when they do that. Again, my name is Lester. I hope my silly army tale was, well, I hope it was a little silly, if not a little too gross. And maybe, this is number two. I haven't done one in 2 years. Maybe I'll do a few more. Who knows? I hope so. All right. You have a good day. Take care.